Now, let's listen to Pastor Iren.
The social media narrative is the church is such a nuisance, as if the country will move forward without the church. You don't know what you are saying. How many free hospitals? Subsidized hospitals? How many free schools? Because most people hold on to the biblical principle that when your right hand does something, your left hand shouldn't know about it. So you just stay and say, what is the church doing? Remove the church first. Allow the devil use you. We must focus on our focus, but we know who we are. The humility of the church has caused a lot of entitlements. A church needs space for its members. Build a bigger building. You say, why not build factory? You don't get to tell people what to do with their money. We need to talk about it because a lot of people don't know. Welfare is not the power of God unto salvation to those who believe.
Now, before we go ahead, you will understand most people that have issues with religion, okay, trying to say religion is one of the major issues Africa is facing. When you hear people say things like, one of the major issues we have in our nation is religion, if you probe that statement very well, you will discover what they are pointing at, or what they are pointing towards is the church. So you will know clearly their issue is not actually about religion, but their issue is with the church. So let's go ahead, right?
It's part of our modus operandi, but it's not our purpose. Multiplying 5 loaves to feed 5,000 was part of Jesus' modus operandi, but it was not his purpose.
And of course, when people talk about the church, most time their target is usually the church leaders. Okay, I understand we have some bad factors in the church, but come on. Who exactly or who actually is the church? Okay, and more so, you have to understand the church leaders, so-called church leaders, you didn't appoint them into public office. There is nowhere anywhere in the constitution that require them to perform any kind of social responsibility. Why then would you have to start holding them responsible for an assignment you never gave them at the first place? So let's continue, right?
Understand the difference. And so there are two extremes. There are people who look at our spiritual purpose and try to deny our administrative usefulness. Those people are blind to history. We know who we are. The fact that we say the gospel is our purpose does not mean we don't know the weight that we pull in administrative things. Go and check as a fact the contribution of the church to science, to the rights of women, to education, to welfare, to morality in the world. Go and check. We know who we are. The social media narrative is the church is such a nuisance, as if the country will move forward without the church. You don't know what you are saying. You don't know what you are saying.
And just to add to this, right, talking about the contribution of the church, okay? Now, it will be interesting for you to know that the five of the major Ivy College we have in the world was actually produced by the church, okay? As a matter of fact, 5 of these Ivy College were created with the sole purpose of training ministers, or the children of ministers. Okay. Now, let's start with Harvard. Harvard University, as you know, is one of the top Ivy College we have in the world. Okay. Founded in 1636, established by the Massachusetts Bay Colony, primarily to train Puritan ministers. Right. Then the next one, Yale University, founded in 1701, founded by clergy in the colony of Connecticut to create an institution to train ministers and spread the value of the Puritan faith. Princeton University, founded in 1746, originally known as the College of New Jersey, it was founded by the Presbyterians to train ministers. Columbia University, founded in 1754, originally known as King's College, it was founded by the Church of England to provide higher education to New Yorkers, including those who would go on to be clergy. Dartmouth College, founded in 1769, originally established to train Native Americans as missionaries, as well as to provide a Christian education to colonial youth. Now, having seen these 5 Ivy College, the question is this: what wisdom was behind the system that was set up so much so that this college eventually become 5 Ivy College? Despite how long they were established, they are still standing now. So anybody coming up to deny the deny the contribution of the church to the social well-being and the advancement of the world at large, that person doesn't know what he's talking about. Okay, so there is no way you can look around, I mean, even per human capital, without having to see traces of major contribution which the church has contributed to anywhere, any society, any country they find themselves. I understand there might be some bad act of misinterpreting the scripture, misinterpreting what a true essence of Christianity is. But if you are to follow Christianity in its true form and its true essence, its true meaning, there is no way any nation that adopts it will not achieve greater advancement, even in times of science. Right, but let's continue to hear.
Including the ministries that some people criticize all the time. Do you know the extent of the contribution? As if things are not hard enough. In 2011, Winners Chapel had 3,000 staff. 3,000. I'm saying from an administrative level, is a great employer of labor. Whether that labor makes sense to you or not, the contribution cannot be ignored. Do you understand what I'm saying? How many free hospitals? Subsidized hospitals? How many free schools? And many churches do it without, by the grace of God, we are starting a free school soon. So I was asking some, oh, you don't know? It's exactly what I'm saying. Because the infrastructure is ready, about 10 classrooms, and you didn't know that.
Well, some persons might even want to argue, what is the quality of those education being provided? Well, that one is your own cup of tea. But the thing is this, you cannot deny their contribution they have in their society.
Part of what I'm saying. So when I put word out, one of my friends, good pastor friends that I've preached for twice, told me, oh, we have a free school. We've run it for 6 years. I said, what? I didn't know. Solid work. Because most people hold on to the biblical principle that your right hand, when your right hand does something, your left hand shouldn't know about it. So you just stay and say, what is the church doing? Remove the church first. Allow the devil use you. We must focus on our focus, but we know who we are. We know the contribution. Something happened that I heard about. When we moved in here months ago, all the restaurants on this stretch sold out. So they were wondering, what is happening? So they did their investigation and discovered, oh, a new church has come. Kere. We're humble, but we know who we are. We know what we bring to the table. We know. And the time is coming. We will get stronger in advocacy because we are also a very powerful customer base that should be satisfied. The time is coming. You cancel us, we'll cancel you too. You need to do mathematics. X cancel X. Y cancel Y. You cancel, I cancel. You get the way you go do. We'll say, our children won't watch your film again. And you will feel it. You know that song by Don Ware? They go feel it. Yeah. Oh, I think I'm getting, maybe Ron Kenoli. Okay, maybe.
Of course, this is just him speaking sarcastically, okay? Because I saw a comment section where I got this video and the person was like, when has the video become Ron Kenoli? Anyway, this is just him, being sarcastic, right?
The reason why we need to touch history a little is because people are forgetting. You don't know what the church has done, and the
True.
humility of the church has caused a lot of entitlements. True. Church won't build. A church needs space for its members. Builds a bigger building. You say, why not build factory? You ought to build factory. As what? As the governor. You not go build. Where's your own factory? Let me say this. Are you ready for this? If a pastor does not want to talk about his political preferences, he doesn't have to. He's under no obligation to talk about politics. Understand this clearly. Read about Jesus. Should we pay taxes? Look at the money. Whose face is on it? Give to Caesar what belongs to Caesar. Give to God what belongs to God. Reply like that in this generation. Gen Z go drag you.
Now, I don't know when this video was actually done or when he said this thing, but I want to believe this was him referring about the issue of that the year when he refused to comment about the last election that happened in Nigeria. And a lot of persons dragged him that, come on, you are a an influential figure in the Christian faith, you should have given the people direction on who to vote. And I'm like, who doesn't know what is right and what is bad? Okay, and come to think of it, right? You know, that time when he refused to give his statement, and this is not me trying to, you know, defend him. Okay, of course, we know, if you have been with us, we have pointed out some certain places where we disagree with him when it comes to doctrine. But come on, this same statement he made that he was dragged for was also made by what is it called, Dr. Abel Damina in the Honest Bunch. He made the same statement when they asked him about politics. He said it was very clear. Look, a Christian leader does not have anything to do with politics. You don't have to make comments because you have people of different parties. So you cannot come and use your position to influence their decision of who to vote for or who not to vote for. And I never saw anybody dragging for that, okay? So most time when you get to see people drag the church, most time it's just because of maybe a personal vendetta, not necessarily because the church in itself is failing, okay? I understand very well that, just like I said, we do have bad factors, bad elements in the church. But if it's to deny the impact the church is having, man, you really need to go and study history once again. And this does not mean people have not used church, the word church, to perpetuate evil. I'm not denying that fact. But just like I said, if you are to visit church, if church Christianity is to be practiced in its true essence, there's no way it will not affect life. I mean, what is the essence? Why did Jesus even came to die? He came to die so that man will be liberated from darkness. So how can what Jesus came to do now be putting men into bondage? That would be counterproductive.